Japan is the leading fish producer and exporter in the world. It accounts for 15% of the world's total catch. Fishing is done around all port cities of Japan, but the major fishing ports are Nippon and Nagasaki, Kushiro, Osaka, Yokohama. Japan has many naturally indented coastlines that provide well-sheltered grounds for the breeding of fish as well as suitable sites for port construction.
Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người. Sau đây là một bể cá 200 khay của tỉnh châu Âu. Đấy. Bắc Kỳ.
The rugged and mountainous terrain limits agricultural activities, hence fishing is a viable economic activity. The shallow and extensive continental shelf allows sunlight to penetrate, thus encouraging the growth of planktons. The convergence of warm Kurashio and the cold Iashio ocean currents helps produce ideal breeding grounds for fish. Upwelling of ocean water bring planktons to the surface. Presence of advanced technology has led to use of powered trawlers, refrigerated vessels fitted with processing plants. Long history of fishing and seagoing culture of the Japanese people. In Japan, fishing is highly developed and mechanized. The fishermen use radars that locate specific areas with large shoals of fish. Japanese fishermen use long lines, trawling and seining methods to catch fish. Seine nets are used in Japan to target schooling pelagic fish species, such as Australian sardine, jack mackerel, and southern bluefin tuna. They are positively buoyant, with sufficient flotation to support the expected catch. The end of the net that is set first, the bunt, is heavily reinforced, as this is where the fish will be concentrated when the net is hauled. The foot rope of the net has purse rings attached at regular intervals by rope or chain. A purse line runs through the rings. When the line is pulled, it effectively closes the bottom of the net. Schools of fish are located by visual sighting, spotter aircraft or sonar. The fishing vessel travels around the school, setting the net, and the head line is then winched in so that both ends of the net are beside the vessel. Surrounding nets take advantage of the shoaling behavior of pelagic fish. The nets work by enclosing schools of fish within walls of netting that prevent the fish from escaping both outwards and downwards. The purse line is winched in from both ends, closing off the bottom of the net. Seine nets usually have two long wings and a section that concentrates and retains the catch. Lengths of rope are added to the end of each of the wings. These ropes are negatively buoyant and extend the working area of the net while adding minimum drag to the hauling operation.
Mackerels caught off the Hachinohe coast can be as large as 600 grams and reach a fat content of up to 30%. In comparison to typical mackerel, which on average has a 12% fat content, mackerel of Hachinohe Maoki are clearly exceptional. The Hachinohe Makoki Saba Brand Council examines and approves each mackerel that comes through Hachinohe port to ensure that the fish meet the conditions for selection. The fish must be caught in the seas surrounding Hachinohe during a specific period of the year, which is determined by annual trends based on the number of catches, fat content, and weight of the fish. A fat content of over 15% is a baseline requirement for the selection of Hachinohe Maoki Saba. Hachinohe Maoki Saba that are especially large receive the name of silver mackerel. An oily fish, mackerel's high fat content gives it a rich flavor and makes it especially tasty when grilled over flame. Vinegared mackerel is also popular on nigiri or in sashimi. This preparation is associated with Kyoto-style sushi, where the vinegar helped preserve the fish as it was transported inland from the seaside areas where it was caught. This was necessary before refrigeration because mackerel spoils relatively fast. The vinegar would ensure it remained safe and edible when it finally arrived in Kyoto. Because mackerel's eaten throughout the world, especially in traditionally seafaring communities, there's almost endless varieties of ways to prepare it. One aspect of preparation that's common regardless of where you are in the world is that it's usually eaten as fresh as possible to prevent spoiling. Otherwise, when not fresh or vinegared, it's often cured, smoked, or canned. Like other fatty fish, mackerel is high in omega-3 fatty acids and good for heart health. It's also high in protein, minerals like the electrolytes magnesium, potassium, and sodium, vitamin D, and a few vitamin Bs, among other nutrients. You can get fresh mackerel in Uejimaya's seafood department and can often find mackerel sushi in our food court or pre-packaged refrigerated food sections. The Saganoseki district in Oita City, Oita Prefecture, has long been a town with a thriving fishing industry. The area faces the Bungo Channel between Oita and Ehime prefectures, and the horse mackerel and mackerel caught there are named Seiki horse mackerel and Seiki mackerel, respectively, and are widely known as one of the best brand fish in Japan. What are the roots of Sekiaji, horse mackerel, and Sekisaba, mackerel, which are born after passing a certain strict control process, and what are the thoughts of the people involved? The Bungo Channel, known as one of the best fishing grounds in Japan, is a sea area famous for catching a wide variety of high-quality fish. Many fish and shellfish gather here in search of plankton generated by the collision of the nutrient-rich cold water of the Seto Inland Sea and the warm water of the Kuroshio Current from the Pacific Ocean. The area between the Saganoseki Peninsula and Cape Sada in Ehime Prefecture is called Heiyasu no Seto, where the tides are particularly swift. One of the characteristics of horse mackerels and mackerels living there is that they do not mix well with fish from other areas of the sea and form independent schools. Because they grow strong in the swift tides, horse mackerels, for example, grow up to have small heads and fat bodies. Mackerel also have little interaction with other fish, so they contain almost no anisakis, a parasitic worm, and can be eaten raw. This is the origin of the name, sekiaji, horse mackerel, and sekasaba, mackerel, which were regarded as exceptional by In recent years, seine fishing has become more efficient thanks to mechanization. In the past, people used to use a special type of net called as a net to pump fish into transport ships, but with the advent of fish pumps, people can save labor and money while maintaining freshness. In this article we will introduce this fish pump and give examples of its use in real seine fleets. There are two main types of fish pumps used when seine fishing, the spiral type and the pusher type. These two types of fish pumps are available on the Japanese market, but push-up capsule pumps are popular in the Nagasaki area because they are relatively easy to retrofit. There are three pump sizes, 8 inches, 10 inches and 12 inches. Depending on the size, the fish suction speed and fish size will change. 8-inch capsule pump, body weight 100 kilograms. As shown in the photo, it does not take up much space to install. This photo shows an 8-inch fish pump. It is mainly used to attract small sardines and bait mackerel, but if you slow down the suction speed, you can also attract large mackerel up to 15 centimeters. It is not only used in fleets of 19 tons, but also in fleets of less than 10 tons, contributing to saving labor in picking up fish on fishing boats. 10-inch capsule pump, body weight 200 kilograms. This photo shows a 10-inch pump. The size of the fish that can be sucked up does not vary much at 8 inches, but the suction power is higher at each stage. 12 inches weighs 420 kilograms. This photo shows our former sales manager in the 12-inch fish pump. Depending on the density of the fish, it is possible to attract fish larger than 20 centimeters. In fact, many measures have been taken, such as adjusting the pump's suction capacity to suit fish density, moving the pump to fish trap areas where fish are concentrated. Next, let's introduce the labor-saving effect of using a fish pump. When using a fishing net, it takes 4 people to do the job, but when using a fish pump, only 1 person is needed on the side of the boat to pump the fish out. In this case, the number of personnel on the aircraft carrier can be reduced to about 2 people. Although manpower is needed for many tasks other than fish pumping itself is certainly labor-saving. Highly flexible rubber hose is used for the hose, so it does not take up much space when installed on the ship. We will present an example of a 19-ton seine in Nagasaki Prefecture that actually uses a 10-inch fish pump. As shown in the picture above, the suction part of the main unit is placed into the fish trap, and the fish is pumped onto the transport ship through a flexible hose. The main body of the fish pump is usually installed on the main fishing vessel, and by installing it on the main vessel, one can use the fish pump to pump fish to all transport vessels in the fleet. Small sardines land at the fish pump. The main type of fish caught this time is small sardines. When we measured the suction speed, we found that about 8 tons of fish were loaded in about 5 minutes. use 10-inch fish pump. The fleet has taken measures to maintain pump suction capacity at 60 to 70% to increase fish freshness. The water and fish are separated by a partition on the stand, and only the fish enter the aquarium. The main body of the suction unit can be submerged 8 to 10 meters below the water surface, adjustable depending on the length of the tube, allowing it to suck weak fish that are sinking first. In contrast to the fish pump, when using a conventional red fishing net, the fish are picked up from near the surface of the water. As a result, weaker fish will be left in the fish trap until the end, making them vulnerable to scratches or loss of freshness. By using a fish pump in this way, it is possible to maintain the freshness of the fish, while also saving labor for the crew. All that is required during installation is hydraulic work to connect the pump and hydraulic pressure, installation of the switching valve, and secure location for the pump and hoses. It is desirable to have a marine crane to control the pump during operation, but some fleets use Deletsky ropes to control the pump. Mechanization of the fishing industry is progressing day by day, and efforts to save labor through mechanization are being actively implemented, such as the cases introduced this time. At Nishi Nihon Nichimo, we aim to continue providing fishermen with materials that make their work as safe and
Sana